So, in today's episode and today's training, we are going to address one of the thorns that are constantly sticking people in their sides. And that is revolving around creating consistent content on LinkedIn and how getting ahead of the game keeps you consistent on the platform, keeps you in front of your ideal target audience, but also keeps you more visible, which is the name of the game. So, what we're going to be doing in today's episode is, I would say, twofold. The creation of the right kind of content on LinkedIn, but how do you get ahead once you've created a few posts, and how can you leverage LinkedIn for both of those? But before we dive into today's episode, as Nancy and I always do, we love to provide free resources. And if you haven't yet grabbed this free resource and you're struggling with creating content, we have a free download that helps you create three high impact posts for LinkedIn. They are prompts almost like Mad Lib style that ask you questions that at the end spit out a really nice post in your words, structured properly for LinkedIn that you can then use. So if you're listening on the podcast, super duper easy. The description of this episode has the link where you can just put your name and email, and we send you the direct link to the prompts so you can start using them right away. If you're watching on social, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, just type the word me in the comments and we will send you the link so we can download them. So, Nance, I want to break this into two parts. I want you to cover the importance of creating quality content over just content itself. And then after you explain how we teach people to create content on LinkedIn, I'm going to then take the baton, run to the finish line, and show them how they can utilize LinkedIn not only as a content tool, but a scheduling tool as well.
Yeah, so what was the first question? What's the point of creating content?
No, I want you to talk about quality content over just creating content.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, I was zoning out a little bit. So the importance, right, of creating quality content. There's a huge difference, guys. I'm going to be honest, right? I've been on such a tangent lately and kind of I've been talking left and right about AI and tech and all kinds of stuff, and there is a ton of content being produced right now. Um, by AI. There's a lot of generic stuff that's getting pumped out. And here's the thing, there's also some content that's pretty decent, right? That's also out there. So right now the playing field is being leveled, okay, as far as generic and basic content. What is going to set you apart and really what separates generic content from good quality content is you. Okay. And so that Scott and I are such big proponents on using, right, AI to help format and structure and, make sure that it, really helps to organize and communicate what you're trying to get across clearly. I love it, right? It's great. But it's still so incredibly important. And where the good content comes into play is your skills, your expertise, your experience, right? You as the human, okay, side of things. So, right now, and I know you guys have probably heard it, right? If you're tuning into whether it be content creation or LinkedIn or anything, but the highest performing content and the highest performing posts are content that really helps people feel connected to you. It builds the familiarity. It builds the know, like, and trust. It showcases you as the expert. You're sharing stories. You're putting yourself out there in a real and easy way. You're posting content that evokes emotion. It creates conversation, right? So there's a lot of little touch points and things, right, that we can focus on in higher performing content. But at the base of all of it, guys, is it authentic? Is it human? Is it you? Does it sound like you? Right? Does it have the soul? It's funny. Our coach was giving us some feedback because we were putting together some, materials that we had written. And I'd used AI for a little bit of the email copy, and he said, "We're missing something." And he was just shaking his head, and I'm like, "What are we missing?" And he's like, "It's missing soul." I was like, "You're right." Okay. It kind of leaned maybe a little bit too much into the AI. So it's important, guys, especially for content, that we do not lose us. Okay. So don't lose the authentic, skills, expertise, ability, everything that makes you you. And so that's really what goes into high quality content right now.
Hmm. So the bigger thing in not falling into the trap of creating generic content is creating content that really speaks to your audience. So part of the reason why Nancy and I created the Expert Content Society is because we wanted to give people the flexibility to be able to create all of their content for each week or each month up front with accessing 24 customized prompts that are built around showcasing you as an industry expert, a thought leader, and a reputable, trusting source. And the fact is that LinkedIn has made it so easy not just to create content on the platform, but to take the notion of having to post every day in real time off of your plate. And I'm going to be very truthful and very honest. If you're still posting quote unquote content in real time, you're probably wasting a lot of your time each day. Now, that is not to say if the spirit does move you and there's something like very impactful that you want to share, by all means do it. But when we built out the Expert Content Society, we did it in a way where we wanted it to be part copywriting assistant for the business owner and part marketing agency for the business owner. Because any business professional, you need to have a marketing plan. And within a marketing plan, you need to have a content plan. And that's why we give people a whole monthly map of showcasing their skill set on the platform. So if someone was to go into the Content Society and they create 3 posts, so say they create an image text post, they create a quote tile, and they create a carousel post. Now that those 3 posts have been created, you don't have to post them every day in real time. You actually can go on and pre-schedule your LinkedIn post. And just to kind of walk you through an example of this. So I created an image text post through our content society, and I was
Wow.
talking I was talking about the importance of tracking your analytics. This is something that Nancy and I talk about all the time with the members of any of our programs. You have to track your analytics. You need your KPIs. And the image that I shared was basically a real-time look at my analytics from January 1st to the beginning of September. So I wanted to give an 8-month window of what has happened with my analytics, and I've ended up with over 650,000 impressions, which means my content has been shown to that many people. But also, I've reached 172,000 members in that time period. And just to let you know, that's more than about 13% of the LinkedIn population. Um, Actually, no, it's about 1.3% of the LinkedIn population. So there's about 1.2 billion, 10%. Yeah. So that would be, yes, that's about 1.2% of the LinkedIn population, maybe a little bit more, which is really good. So just think about those numbers. Out of the 1.2 billion, I've been able to impact, 172,000 of them, which is pretty cool.
Well, and just to chime in, so impressions, just so it's clear, so everyone knows what that is, it's how many times your posts, comments, or profile was displayed in users' feed or search results, right? So
Yes.
that's how many times content has just appeared.
So what I did was I kind of broke it down. That's 82,000 impressions per month, over 20,000 impressions per week. So when I create all this content, the fact is that you can pre-schedule this. So whenever you hit start a post, and in this case, I'm doing an image text post, there's a little clock at the bottom that if you hover over it, it says schedule for later. So I can click on this, and then I can choose the date and the time that I want this to be scheduled. So I want to post this on Saturday the 13th, right? So I choose the date, I choose the time, and I usually push out my content between 7 and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm just going to pump this out at 7:30 a.m. I'm going to click the next button, and then you're going to see the post button switch to schedule. And then I'm just going to click schedule. LinkedIn's going to give me a little bit of a ding, and my post is scheduled. Now, I do this every single week. I try to get at least 3 or 4 of my posts, if not more, scheduled a week to two at a time because I focus more on networking, engaging, building know, like, and trust with the network that I'm building on LinkedIn. But say you wanted to kind of edit something that you posted, you wanted to modify the schedule. What a lot of people don't know is a lot of this is not set in stone. So I can click start a post, and then you'll see that at the very bottom that scheduling clock comes back up, and you can click schedule for later ahead of time. And then you'll have an option to view all scheduled posts, where if you click on that, that will show you whatever you've pre-scheduled, the date and the time. Now, to the right of that are 3 little dots. And this is where you can say, you know what? I don't want to wait till Saturday. I want to post this now. Or maybe you want to modify the schedule, meaning, you know what? I don't want to post this on Saturday. I'm going to post it on Sunday instead. You click modify schedule, you choose a new date and time, and then you reschedule it. The third option is editing the post. Maybe there's something that you wanted to add or change. You can edit anything of the text that you already pre-scheduled and then reschedule it after those edits have been made. Or maybe you said, you know what? I don't want to post this at all. You can just delete it, trash it, and it's never existed. So, this is why we tell people there's no excuse anymore of how you can't get ahead on LinkedIn because LinkedIn has its own scheduling tool in there. So, being consistent on LinkedIn, so that's why this is 2 parts. You got to create quality content. You can't just put out garbage, right? Garbage in, garbage out. If you're going to be producing garbage, you're not going to get much back. That's why we really encourage people to, whether it's using our content prompts through the Expert Content Society or whatever else you're doing, don't just post garbage, post good stuff because you have to think about how is this going to impact people? Did I hit a trigger or something, Nancy? I think you want to say something.
Well, one thing I want to bring up because, many of you listening, some of you know about the Expert Content Society. Many, have never even heard about it. So just to kind of share with you guys what makes this different than just like going into ChatGPT or Gemini or AI and just plain, saying, hey, create some LinkedIn content, right? In fact, even like, programs like Cintra and like some of these other like AI tools that people are using. What makes it different is every single prompt that we make available. So we have content hubs every single month that we release, and it's not, themed by the month. It's actually themed by a certain part of building your personal brand and what works really well in LinkedIn. And so, for example, I'm actually working on the content for October, which is all around authority and thought leadership expansion, right? So it's a lot about, talking about industry updates and problems your clients have and things like that. So every single post that we create, which we give you guys 24 different little AI tools that all you got to do is basically click the button, you answer a bunch of questions, and it will output, really, really thoughtful, optimized content that you can post right on LinkedIn. And we do it for all formats. So not only do you get text posts, you also every single week get the option of choosing between a text post, a poll post, a carousel post, a video post, a quote post, a newsletter post, and obviously like a video overview post. And the thing is we also provide the Canva templates in there. So when you talk about quick creation, Scott said, the ease of all of this is we want to get people to stop flying by the seat of their pants, trying to come up with content the day of and just posting something and not feeling confident about what it is. We want to take that off your plate and say, here you go. Just literally answer a few questions and share your thoughts, your expertise, your skills, right? That's where the human part comes in. And let our AI tools, which we've programmed each and every one to be a surgeon, right? Not just a generalized, overall content creator. It will literally create that specific post. It's been trained on great examples. It's been put through the ringer, guys, as far as quality control. And that post will come out. You can copy, you can paste it right into LinkedIn. You can create your graphic, which again, we provided the templates in there as well. And you can literally create your content for the entire month, okay, in one sitting if you decide to do so. Or if you just want to batch out, a few posts per week, we've got you covered. So literally the Expert Content Society is the community, that we've built. It's that membership that you can just jump in there as often as you want, whenever you need LinkedIn content, or you can put it into your routine each month. And it just makes that content creation process so much easier. It takes the guesswork, guys. You don't even have to go in there and go, give me a content plan for the month and theme it around this. No, it takes all of that off your plate so that you know exactly what to post that's going to build that know, like, and trust, that familiarity, help you share stories, help you create content that resonates with people on LinkedIn to really, really close that gap so that people will want to work with you.
Yep. So if you're interested in just checking out the Expert Content Society and learning more, all you have to do is go to thetimetogrowcom, click on programs, and you'll see it right there. You can check it out. You can click the learn more button. The other thing is if you're watching on social and you're interested in learning more, just type the word me in the comments, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and we can send you the link to check it out. And as I mentioned, the link, if you're listening on the podcast, will be in the description of this episode. So again, two parts. Don't create garbage on LinkedIn. Create the quality content. That's what we're helping people do mostly, and people are getting phenomenal results. But outside of that, remember, LinkedIn is making it easier than ever to stay ahead of the game with their own scheduling tool, the way that I walked you through it today. So we hope you found today's episode helpful. Love and gratitude, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.